Academy. I just had a little mishap right there. Apologize. So
I was like, yeah.
yeah, when you do live things happen. So anyway, everyone, we are here with our podcast. Myself, Brent Simpson. I am with Leon Noble, and we're about to dive into a topic that we've kind of started discussing on our investors group on Monday, and we found some shocking information out about cryptocurrency. So, if you all have heard the Three Money Migos, where we're talking about different money matters, we actually go into it there as well. But Leon and I were like, let's go a little deeper. Let's look at the not only the staple coins in the cryptocurrency space, but let's look at the numbers behind them. This might shock you. So if you're with us right now, I want to say thank you for being with us. Our podcast is getting over 5,000 plus unique downloads per month. So that is amazing. That's because of you all. And if you are looking to find a home to learn about stocks, crypto, real estate, and all the things related to finance, please stop and go to our QR code. As you can see, we have our QR code on the screen. For those of you all who are listening to the podcast while running on the treadmill, swimming, playing bocce,
Pickleball.
pickleball, shuffleboard, whatever you're doing, you can go to www.ieamembers.com. Again, www.ieamembers.com and become a member today. So I'm gonna do a little bit of housekeeping. Leon's gonna tell you why we chose to dive a little deep into those numbers.
Yep. So I and Brent and I was talking before we came on that he's known about crypto since a little after it came out in 2009, 2010, 2011. I was at the time really, really deep in the options market in futures. So I didn't really learn about crypto actually till Brent and I started IEA in about mid 2020. And so, a lot of us remember that whole rigmarole from 2000, really 18 to 2021 when the market just exploded. I mean, it went from the market cap of all of crypto on the planet, the value went from under a trillion or a billion. I think is it trillion, billion? What's the market cap?
Trillion at its height.
It was It was either 3 trillion or 3 billion at its height, and now it's well below that. So I mean, like crypto, the value of crypto had tripled in a short number of years. Now, since 2022, when the Fed started raising rates, everything got decimated. I mean, stocks got decimated, bonds got decimated, crypto definitely got decimated. And crypto's been under a lot of people's radars the last year and a half, mine included. I mean, Brent and I were deep into it for years, and we both just kind of stepped back because it's been relatively a bear market. It's down. I mean, Bitcoin from its high is still down about 50%. And then we had the whole FTX blow up. We had the 3AC. We had the crypto, that stable coin that blew up. Like there's been it was a fiasco in 2001, 2022 with crypto. So it went off a lot of people's radars. But Brent and I, we still follow it to some extent. We have a group within IEA that focuses strictly on crypto. So we've been following it the last year and a half. Like I said, it's been a bloodbath. But investing, it's all about where you get in, right? So anybody who got in at Bitcoin at $70,000 when it was at its height, you've been wiped out. I mean, you've been wiped out. Bitcoin, I'm mainly talking Bitcoin. So Bitcoin at its low about a year ago got down to like 15, 16,000, right? So if you had gotten in then, right, Bitcoin is now at above 30,000. So you've doubled your money. So, in investing, it's all about where you get in. So as of right now, if you got in crypto a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, you're looking pretty good. So we're going to go over the actual numbers behind the percentage gains in some crypto over the last year and a half, 2 years, and they are astonishing. Well, actually, over the last 5 years.
5
They're
years.
astonishing the returns that we've seen the last 5 years in crypto.
All right, so all you naysayers, you're going to see some numbers, and we want to first say these numbers may differ depending on the platform which you look them up on. We chose to use Google because it's most frequently used platform for most people. In general, when I am looking up cryptocurrency, I think Leon can attest to this too. I will go to coinmarketcap.com. But in this instance, for simplicity and just because we know so many people use Google, we decided to also Google it. So here we go. So first up, we're going to take a look at Litecoin. Now, some of you all are thinking, what is Litecoin? Litecoin is one of the primary stable coins for the cryptocurrency space. You have Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Those comprise the stable coins. The reason why they call it stable coins is because somebody decided to make them stable coins, and now that's that they're coined. I don't think anything in cryptocurrency is truly stable, to be
Brent,
honest.
can you zoom in on your screen, son?
Yeah, let me take a look.
Yeah, that's better. Yep, that's good.
Okay. So, just going back to what Leon said, it really, all these things depend on when you got into these investments. The reason we say that is if you look at the gap, between, what is this? April, May 7th and May 7th, 2021, and July 16th, 2021, you were ready just to hang it all up.
For the people that are watching, what do you actually describe?
Yeah. So what we're looking at is Litecoin. At one point on May 7th, 2021, Litecoin was trading at $347 per coin. So that meant that if you had owned Litecoin, you can go to the open market and quote unquote sell it or find a buyer of your coins, and they would have paid you $347 per coin. Soon after that, Litecoin took what some might call a tumble, where it was at you can only receive $120 for that same coin just a few months later. Now, when Leon said it depends on when you got in, if you're looking at this, you're thinking, oh my gosh, that would have been a roller coaster of emotion. However, if you would have got in 2019, you would have only originally paid $32 per coin. So you really are still winning. It would have, I'm sure emotionally it would have felt bad, but you still would have been well above what you purchased it at. And we don't want to go through all that, but what you can see are just the dips that come with investing. If you're listening to this, the range is anywhere from $30 to 52 to 100 to 300 for Litecoin in particular. The top of the mountain for Litecoin being about that $300 price range, 347 to be reasonably accurate. Now, what Leon and I talked about was the 5-year return on Litecoin. Litecoin's 5-year return, according to Google, on a Google search, it is up 75%, 75.54%. So some of you all may be thinking, oh, 75.54%. That's great. 5 years. That means that roughly per year you're averaging about 15%, which beats the market in most cases. Yes, that's true. And it is positive, but that's over a 5-year period. Assuming you got in 5 years ago. Most of us didn't. We got in, 2 years out, 3 years out. So we're feeling it a little differently than what this is going to show. But Leon and I's point to showing the 5-year is this. Every one of you all know, for the most part, again, Leon and I are buy and hold investors. Cryptocurrency is a little different. Now, I will raise my hand and say I was probably the more aggressive one between Leon and I. I was trading cryptocurrency. I wasn't investing in cryptocurrency. So I was getting in and getting out within days of some periods. Hours sometimes. And it served me well for that period. But I still took a hit when the market just went completely south, just like anybody else. So let's put real numbers to this. If you had an investment 5 years ago of $1,000 in Litecoin, we're going to pull up a chart. All right. This chart is going to moneygeek.com, and we're looking at their compound interest calculator. We are not attesting to the accuracy of this. We just simply use their compound interest calculator, and we assumed $1,000, putting no new money into the investment at a rate of 15% interest over a 5-year period. your balance after that 5 year period will be about $2,107. Again, it's not over the moon, but it is beating the bank. It was, helping you have a positive return in a very volatile marketplace. So it served the purpose. Now,
Remember that. Remember, this is a cumulative over 5 years, a cumulative 75% return over 5 years. As Brent said, about 15% per year will give you just over $2,000 on $1,000 invested.
mm-hmm.
Which, like you said, as we know, the market generally returns anywhere from really 8 to 12%, depending on dividends per year. So 15% is beating the market in any of those scenarios. That's a great return.
Yeah. Now let's change this up a little bit. Let's look at let's do Bitcoin next. So let me make it a little bit bigger. Is this okay, Lee?
Yeah, that's good. Mm-hmm. Now zoom back in. That's better. Yeah.
All right, cool. I just want to make sure it's still showing the name. All right. So 100% agree with Leon. Depending on where you got into this chart, it could either look super scary or extremely attractive. If you hit one of these mountain peaks, if you're cycling, riding your bike, you're like, what are they looking at? We're looking at a 5-year chart of Bitcoin on Google.com. And in April 2021, it shows Bitcoin at $60,000 per coin. Again, I'll say that. April 2021 has Bitcoin at $60,000 per coin. Just a few months later, 3-4 months later, it's literally cut in half. It is now showing Bitcoin at $31,576.20 per coin. And that's just July 16, 2021. However, if you go back 5 years to around the time frame of November 23rd, 2018, Bitcoin was trading at $3,774. So
and a lot of people forget that Bitcoin was literally well under $5,000 just 5 years ago. Like everyone thinks, oh, 30,000, 60,000, 40,000. Bitcoin was trading at $3,700 in 2018. Like just think about that. Like the insane return that it's had the last 5 years.
And this is beyond what we're talking about right now, but there was a point where Bitcoin was like 0.0005 cent.
Mm-hmm.
So, we won't go into that.
That was like 2008, 2009, 2010 back in
yeah. So now let's look at we're just talking about a 5-year span. So if you're, if you're just listening to this, we're only looking at a 5-year span of Bitcoin. In the last 5 years, Bitcoin has shown a total return of over the last 5 years of $541.46.
No, that's a percentage.
That's a percentage. That's what I said. What I said?
You said dollars.
Oh, sorry. 541.46% gain in the last 5 years. You're right. I did say that. So then thank you for that. Over the last 5 years, if you're talking about anything showing you over a 500% rate of return, please send Leon direct messages and we'll be happy to look into it. The reason we thought this was important today is because this is the narrative that a lot of people don't pay attention to. At 541% rate of return over the last 5 years, you're looking at roughly 108% return per year on average. And once you average it out, that averages out to a 108% return per year for the last 5 years. That's unheard of.
That's 10 times more than the average return of the stock market.
And this is an investment everybody was just kind of dismissing. If people still like Bitcoin of all the coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin is like the cousin nobody talks about. But Bitcoin and Ethereum have still been pretty much in vogue. But this actually gives you the numbers behind why it should be in vogue. Now, watch these next numbers that we're going to show you. Remember, over the last 5 years, Bitcoin, according to Google.com, has returned over 541% interest over the last 5 years.
Mhm.
So let's see. At that rate, that means that Bitcoin would have, if you invested $1,000 5 years ago into Bitcoin, left it there, didn't do anything, today your balance would be over $38,000. Over $38,000. Now, to give you some perspective, if you would have put $1,000 into a bank account 5 years ago, you probably would have $1,112 today, 5 years later. Like
I
maybe.
wouldn't. I wouldn't even say that much because the rates just went up this year. So you're,
That's what I'm saying, maybe.
yeah, I would say you'd have under $1,100.
Yeah.
Well under 11. But yeah, you get the point. You would have had essentially no return if you were taking your money, put it in the bank account 5 years ago. You would essentially still be sitting at a little more than $1,000.
Now, in this time frame, let's be real, this was very scary. So
Oh, the volatility
the
was insane over
yeah,
that.
I mean, there were some days you probably would have opened your account and just cried. But the reality is that's the stock market as a whole.
Well, the
And
crypto market.
yeah, crypto, I'm sorry. In the crypto market, that's investing in the
Yeah.
markets.
Yes.
Now, if you had the stomach to stay the course, you're talking about having over a 540% rate of return over a 5 year period, which equals over 100% rate of return per year for the last 5 years, helping your $1,000 grow into over $38,000. So that's pretty impressive.
Now, just real quick, I want to say now, Bitcoin and crypto in general are it's an extreme case, right? Like we all
Mhm.
know Bitcoin is very, very volatile. The swings are up and down, crazy, crazy. But we always say long term, right? It's time in the market versus trying to time the market. So this is a perfect example, right? If you would let your money sit in Bitcoin now, $1,000 is a lot of money to some people. It's not a lot of money to other people. But we would hope anything that you invest, you can basically lose. You're willing to basically lose because investment's always a risk. So if you had put $1,000 in it and just let it sit for 5 years, Bitcoin has dropped 50% multiple times in that 5 years, over
Yes.
50%. If you would just let it sit, this is a perfect example of why time in the market is more important than timing the market. Just let your money sit. You'd have grown $1,000 into 38 grand in 5 years. Now again, this is a very extreme example because not most
Yeah.
investments don't do this, but this is just an example of the power of remaining in the market even through ups and downs.
Now, this last one we're going to look at is Ethereum. This is the one, probably many of you know it as well as you know Bitcoin. Let me make it a little bit bigger. How's that, Leon?
Yeah, you go a little bigger.
Okay. For those of you all who, again, running, swimming, dancing with the wolves, whatever it is you might be doing, we're looking at a chart of Ethereum and we're going to dive into the 5 year return as it is shown on google.com, which means that anybody who wants to just fact check this can go to google.com and search Bitcoin price, Ethereum price, Litecoin price, and then just hit the 5Y, which means 5 year return under them, and you get to see the information we're talking about. Now, some of you all saw me hit the button. Those of you all who are listening, the drum roll is happening. This particular coin, this cryptocurrency, has returned 993%, over 993% return, according to google.com, over the last 5 years. Same story Leon said from the beginning. If depending on when you got in, this looks incredibly exciting. For those that got in, maybe let's say around November 2021, this doesn't look that great because you got in at $4,644 per coin. Now, I do want to say, if you are an IAA, you would have received a phone call you would have got a message from us about 1 week before this date. And Leon, I will definitely give him his flowers right now. He made the announcement that the market was changing and that people should move their money to safer investments. Speculative investments were going to be at risk, period.
And the reason was just, I mean, I'm not a genius or anything. The reason was the
Come
Federal
on,
Reserve.
Leon. Come on, Leon.
I mean, you know, I mean,
Come on. We know.
I mean, I'm half genius.
There you go.
The reason was because the Federal
That's
Reserve.
the Jamaican side or the Guyanese side?
I can't, you know, I can't. You know, they always say can't pick your favorite child. I can't pick the favorite parent. So
okay, all right, cool.
Let's put it down the middle. But the reason I had put that like blaring, flashing red sign signal out there that you should move out of speculative assets is because the Federal Reserve is going to be raising interest rates, and as we all know, bonds are now a competitor to the stock market and really any market, because you can get risk-free returns of about 5% in bonds. So that's why that happened at that time. It definitely, I mean, you know, got himself in the back. It was definitely the right call at the right time. And you know, we saved a lot of people some money now, but you know, but like, again, we're really here talking about the five-year return, and just showing that, again, this is another example. I mean, again, let's think about this: 993% return in 5 years. You know, if somebody had gotten into Ethereum initially, saw it go up 10-20%, day traded it and gotten out, yeah, they would have made it 10-20% maybe in a couple of days or a couple of months, but they would have left, you know, 880% on the table, right? Now, again, nobody knows the future. We didn't know that was going to happen. But I just want to really reiterate the whole point of time in the market. These are totally outside the normal type of returns. But when you're talking about crypto, these are essentially normal returns. These are
and normal drops.
Yeah, and normal drop. I mean, Ethereum, same thing. It had over 50% drops quite a few times over the last 5 years too. So, you know, if you bought in, let your money sit, you have a stomach of steel, or you just knew it was money you could lose, right? So, but you've been paid handsomely for sticking it out, and you're up, you know, over 900% in 5 years. So, but again, two things: power of crypto. Crypto can get these type of outsized returns, and also the power of staying in the market even through ups and downs.
Yeah, I mean, this is not what we plan on talking about, but I just happened to read an article. LimeWire has a coin. If anybody remembers LimeWire, you're definitely between that 35 and 50 space.
Not closer to 40.
Well, I said 35 to 50, so that includes 40.
LimeWire I don't know if 35 would even know about it.
35 might know about LimeWire. It was some people who knew about LimeWire.
That was like the 90s. Okay, it was AOL days, but okay,
yeah. So LimeWire has a coin, and their coin today is up 296%.
Wait, you mean today or like today? Like
today, like to right now. Today.
Oh, it was up 200% today. Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't even know LimeWire had a coin. I just happened to be reading some articles and I stumbled across it. And you know, to Leon's point, things like that can happen in crypto. But I promise you, tomorrow or next week, that LimeWire coin, I can't predict the future. It's just my opinion. It probably will be down 400%. And so. You know, just being in this space, there are opportunities, but there also are opportunities to get burned royally. So please don't hear this information saying, "Oh, I'm diving back in. Oh, cryptocurrency is better than the stock market." That's what Leon and Brent said. We never said that. We are simply showing you some things that you probably didn't know about because people started to abandon crypto. And so let's look at what this means in our example for the day. If you would have invested $1,000 before I click, how much do you think that $1,000 will be worth today? If you guys can put the comments in below, you know, if you want to send us a message, if you're on any of the social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and you're like, you want to pop in, put your number in, what you think we're about to say, I would love to see some of the things that pop up. Now, we're talking about $1,000. The question is, what do you think $1,000 would be today if it had been invested in Ethereum cryptocurrency for the last 5 years?
At 993% return.
Total. Not per year. That's total.
Yep.
So per year, that breaks down to 198% rate of return per year on average for Ethereum. All right. So all the numbers and guessings are in. Any more, we'll definitely still take a look at. Those monies would now be worth over $235,000. So if you were to take $1,000 and put no additional money into Ethereum 5 years ago, 5 years is not a long time.
No.
You would have seen an average rate of return of 198%. That means that $1,000 would now be worth over $235,000. Now let's go back to Leon's stomach of steel. Crypto, I mean, the stock market is bad enough, but crypto, I'm almost 100% sure there was at least 1 year where that was probably a negative 35%.
Yeah.
And
what we mean, or at some point down 20, 30, 40% at any given time. I mean, just pain of that. Yeah.
Like, I mean, you woke up one day and you probably saw at least 20% of your value of your account gone multiple days throughout the year, in any given year.
I mean, just example based on this. If you put $1,000 in, say, Ethereum, at some point during this 5 years, that $1,000 was down below $500.
Oh yeah.
And but then again, it grew, came back, and blasted off to over $200,000. So it's just the volatility in this market is insane. However, it's in my mind, it's the only place that I know of on planet Earth right now that you can get these type of returns in this short period of time. But with these type of returns, you gotta be able to take the pain with it.
And this is when you get the gut check, because the market is going to punch you, kick you, celebrate you, buy you a drink, everything out there. But at some time, you're gonna open your account and you're gonna wish you just never did it. In those moments, what do you do? Because it doesn't mean that you stay invested. Sometimes you got to reallocate your account. But if you invest in quality companies, you can pretty much wait it out. But waiting it out is way easier said than done. When you see those numbers ticking down, instinct is going to kick in. And that's when you need to be part of a community. And so for anybody who's not part of an investment community, we welcome you to join Investing Education Academy, so we can help give you those level sets when those moments kick in, because it's hard. It's hard to look at it, and you need to talk to somebody who's been through a lot, and they can help level set you when those moments come, versus you kind of be in your own bubble, having to deal with all your emotions in isolation. So, that's really it. I mean, for us today, we want to show you those numbers because, number one, they're pretty significant, and two, some of you all have never seen numbers like that. And you think, especially in cryptocurrencies, some of you all have abandoned it, laughed at your friends. There's definitely a market still producing some real returns for cryptocurrency.
And regardless, I want to make a point also is like, Brent and I were saying, oh, if you had stayed in the market, would have made all this money, right? But just now we had said in the end of 2021 how I come out with saying, hey, you want to start trimming some of these riskier assets because this potential crash is coming, which did. Our point is, like I said, Brent and I are long-term investors. We're about saving money versus losing money, or making money versus losing money, right? So again, nobody knew that what Ethereum, Bitcoin were going to do, right? We can only take the data we have at the moment and invest or trade on that. And at that moment in time, we knew, okay, well, we didn't know, but we had a pretty good inkling that the market was in for a crash, and it did, right? But again, had you held, again, as I said, the stomach of steel. I mean, because we said this is going to happen. Again, we didn't have a crystal ball. We had a very good feeling that it would, and it did. But that didn't mean you had to sell, right? You could have said, hey, look, I'm gonna ride it out. This $1,000, I'm cool with losing if it does, and you've made all this money. But we are of the mind that we would rather save people money than take a risk on making those type of returns. Again, it's a personal choice. I chose to sell quite a bit of my crypto. Still have small positions. Still. I mean, I've still done very well in crypto. I'm not up, $200,000 worth because I had made a little more than $1,000. No, I had more than that height. But I definitely sold a big portion of my crypto in 2021. So I'm still up, not up anywhere near as I was. But kind of the point I'm trying to make is that we will always err on the side of trying to help our community either save money and or make money. But we would never say, hey, just go long forever blindly especially when we know something like an interest rate hiking cycle is going to happen. When we know it's going to be crazy volatility. So, but again, it's investing is all personal choice.
Yeah. So with that being said, everybody, please, if you want to become a member, you can go to IEAmembers.com. We're happy to, welcome you into the IEA community. If you were, thinking cryptocurrency is something that it isn't, it's some time. Hopefully, we sparked an interest in you to do some research. This is not us saying go out and buy crypto or move your money into crypto or, put your life savings. We're not saying any of that. This is just purely information to help you see some of the facts, of what's really happening in the cryptocurrency marketplace. But it's just a small portion. This is not indicative of the entire cryptocurrency world. I would probably guess like 80% of those cryptocurrencies that existed 3 years ago don't exist now. So,
or if they do, they're like below, they're 90 to 95% off what they were.
Highly unattractive.
Yep.
So just do your research. Make sure it makes sense for your portfolio. As Leon said, if you're investing in it, it should be money that you can definitely lose. And other than that, we look forward to seeing you at our next podcast. Have a great day.
And remember,
yes. We owe you all 2 stock picks, which you'll find
or crypto picks.
Yeah, it's gonna be a stock pick.
Yeah, right. It's not good stock. Yeah.
You can find those selections inside the IEA members community. So that means you have to be a member to get those picks. We look forward to really talking to you all again on the next podcast. If you have questions or anything that you want to send to us, please feel free to do so. We will get back to you as we can. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.